The stars blurred past Junwoo's cockpit window as his fighter ship screamed through space. His hands gripped the controls tight, sweat running down his face. The distress beacon had led him here, to this empty corner of the galaxy where no one was supposed to be. "Come on, Wildfire. Hold together," he whispered to his ship. The engines were making sounds they should not make. Red warning lights flashed across every screen. Then, he saw it. A planet, beautiful and green, floating in the darkness. But his computer showed something that made his blood run cold. The planet's name was Drakenheim. Every pilot in the Federation knew that name. It was forbidden. No one could go there. The Galactic Council had quarantined it 3,000 years ago. Junwoo tried to turn his ship away, but the engines failed. Completely. Fire erupted from the left thruster. His fighter began spinning out of control. Pulled by the planet's gravity, he fought the controls with everything he had, using every trick he learned in 10 years of flying. Nothing worked. The atmosphere hit him like a wall. His ship became a falling meteor, burning through the sky. Trees rushed up to meet him. Junwoo pulled the emergency lever and felt his seat blast away from the exploding ship. The last thing he saw was green forest everywhere. And then his head hit something hard. Darkness took him. When Junwoo opened his eyes, he thought he was dreaming. Above him was a ceiling made of crystal that glowed with soft blue light. The air smelled like flowers and something else, something he could not name. It smelled ancient. Then he realized his head was resting on something soft and warm. He turned slightly and froze. A woman was looking down at him with eyes like liquid gold. But she was not entirely human. Her skin had tiny scales that shimmered like metal in sunlight. 2 elegant horns curved back from her forehead through long black hair. When she smiled, he saw her teeth were just a bit too sharp. "You are awake," she said. Her voice was beautiful, like music and thunder mixed together. "Good." I was beginning to worry. Junwoo tried to sit up fast, but pain shot through his whole body. Gentle hands pushed him back down. "Slowly," the woman said. "You fell from the sky. You should be dead. But somehow you are not. Humans are more durable than our records suggested. You speak common," Junwoo managed to say. His throat felt like sand. "I speak many languages. I have had much time to learn them." She reached for a cup beside her and held it to his lips. "Drink. It will help." The liquid tasted like honey and starlight, if starlight had a taste. Strength flowed back into Junwoo's body. He managed to sit up this time. Though his head spun, he was on a soft cushion in a massive room. Everything around him looked expensive and old. Tapestries hung on walls, showing dragons flying through space itself. "Where am I?" he asked. "You are in my palace. In the heart of Drakenheim." The woman stood up, and Junwoo saw she was tall. Taller than any human woman. She wore robes that seemed to be made from woven light. "I am Yuna. I rule this world." Junwoo's mind raced. "You are the dragon Empress." "I am." She walked to a window that showed a city beyond. Buildings of crystal and stone stretched as far as he could see. Flying shapes moved between them. Dragons in their true forms. "And you are Junwoo, of the Terran Federation. Your ship's computer told me this before it died completely." "I did not mean to crash here," Junwoo said quickly. "I was following a distress signal. My ship malfunctioned. I know this planet is quarantined. I will leave as soon as—" "Rind, you will not leave." Yuna turned back to him. Her golden eyes were not cruel, but they were firm. "Your ship is destroyed. The core is melted. Even if you could repair it, which you cannot, I could not allow you to leave yet." Fear touched Junwoo's heart. "Are you going to kill me?" "No." Yuna tilted her head, studying him like he was a puzzle. "But my people might want to. You are the first human to set foot on Drakenheim in 1,000 years. Some will see you as a spy. others will want you dead simply for being human. I am not a spy. I believe you. But belief is not enough for my counsel. She sat down near him, close enough that he could see the tiny scales on her skin. Moved, like they were alive. Tell me, Junwoo, what do humans teach about my world? About why we are forbidden? Junwoo thought carefully before answering. They say dragons are dangerous, that your people attacked ships and colonies, that you use forbidden magic. The council quarantined you to protect the galaxy. Something like sadness crossed Yuna's face. Of course they do. And do you believe this? Junwoo looked around the beautiful chamber. He thought about how gently Yuna had cared for him, a stranger who crashed from the sky. I am not sure what I believe anymore. Good. Uncertainty is honest. Yuna stood again. The truth is simpler and sadder. We were quarantined because we refused to share our magic freely, because we would not let your corporations mine our sacred places, because we were strong enough to say no, and the council feared that strength. Before Junwoo could respond, doors burst open. A tall male dragon strode in, his face fierce. He wore armor that looked like it grew from his body. His hand rested on a sword at his hip. Empress, this is madness, the man said. He spoke in a language Junwoo did not know. But Yuna held up her hand. We speak common, Daehyun. Our guest should understand what we say about him. Daehyun's eyes, silver like steel, fixed on Junwoo with clear distrust. This human should be in a cell, not in your private chambers. The council is already gathering. They demand his execution. They demand many things. I decide what happens in my palace. Yuna's voice became harder, more commanding. Junwoo is under my personal protection. Anyone who harms him answers to me. He is human. Daehyun's voice rose. His kind voted to imprison us on our own world. They tried to steal from us, to conquer us. Now one falls into our home, and you treat him like honored guest? His kind? Yuna stepped between Daehyun and Junwoo. He is not his entire species. He is one man who had an accident. Or have you forgotten that I judge individuals, not races? Daehyun's jaw clenched, but he bowed his head. Of course, Empress, but the council will not be so understanding. Then I will make them understand. Yuna looked back at Junwoo. You will stay here tonight. Tomorrow, you will appear before the Dragon Council. They will test you. If you pass their tests, you may live freely on Drakkenheim until we find a way to return you home. If you fail. 10. I die, Junwoo finished. Probably. Yuna's expression softened slightly. I will do what I can. But I am Empress, not dictator. My people have voices that must be heard. Daehyun made a disgusted sound and left, his boots echoing on the crystal floor. When they were alone again, Junwoo asked, Why are you helping me? You do not know me. Yuna was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Because I remember when I was young. Before the quarantine, I had human friends once. We played together, learned together. Then politics and fear destroyed everything. She looked at him with those ancient, golden eyes. And because you are injured and alone, far from your home, what kind of ruler would I be if I showed no mercy? Junwoo felt something strange in his chest. Here was a being who could probably kill him with one hand, a ruler of an entire planet. And she spoke of mercy and friendship. Thank you, he said simply. Yuna nodded. Rest now. Tomorrow will be difficult. The council will not go easy on you simply because I wish it. She walked to the door, then paused. Junwoo, when you face them tomorrow, do not pretend to be something you are not. Dragons respect honesty above all else, even honest enemies. Then she was gone, leaving Junwoo alone in the glowing chamber. He lay back on the cushions and stared at the crystal ceiling. Somewhere above that ceiling were the stars, and beyond the stars was home. But home had never felt so far away. His body still hurt from the crash. But something else troubled him more The way Yuna had looked at him. Like she saw not just a human, not just a pilot, but a person. When was the last time anyone had looked at him that way? Junwoo closed his eyes. Tomorrow he would face dragons who wanted him dead. Tomorrow he would be tested in ways he could not imagine. But tonight, for some strange reason, he felt safe. The forbidden planet hummed with ancient power around him, and somewhere in the palace, a dragon empress wondered if maybe, just maybe, the human who fell from the sky might change everything. Morning came too quickly. Junwoo woke to find new clothes laid out for him. Not dragon clothes, but something close to what humans wore. Someone had been in his room while he slept. The thought made him nervous. A young dragon woman appeared at his door. She was smaller than Yuna, with green scales that caught the light. Her horns were shorter, still growing. She could not be more than the dragon equivalent of 20 years old. "I am Hana," she said, smiling shyly. "The Empress asked me to bring you food and show you the palace. You must eat before the council meets." The food was strange but good. Fruits that tasted like nothing on earth. Bread that seemed to glow faintly. Hana watched him eat with curious eyes. "Is it true humans eat meat every day?" she asked. "Some do. I do not eat it often." Junwoo took another bite of the glowing bread. "Is it true dragons can eat rocks?" Number 2. Hana laughed. "Only certain rocks. Crystals, mostly. They help us store magic." She leaned forward. "I have been studying humans for years, from old records and transmissions we intercept from space. But I never thought I would meet one. Tell me, is Earth really covered in cities? Do humans really have no magic at all?" They talked while he ate. Hana was easy to talk to, eager to learn. She reminded him of his younger sister, back on Earth. The thought made his chest hurt. "Do you miss your home?" Hana asked, as if reading his mind. "Yes, very much. I have never left Drakenheim. None of us have, for 3,000 years. Sometimes I dream about seeing other worlds." Her eyes went distant. "But the quarantine keeps us here, prisoners on our own planet. That must be hard. It is the only life I have known. For me, it is normal. But for the old dragons, the ones who remember freedom." She shook her head. "Some of them are very angry. Be careful today, Junwoo. Lord Taeyang especially. He leads the faction that wants all humans destroyed." Before Junwoo could ask more, Daehyun appeared. "It is time. The council waits." The council chamber was huge and carved from a single piece of black stone. 13 dragons sat in a circle on raised seats. Yuna sat highest, her face calm and unreadable. Next to her sat an older dragon with white scales and kind eyes. "Ji-hee," Hana whispered. On the opposite side sat a dragon whose scales were deep red like blood. His eyes burned as he looked at Junwoo. That had to be Taeyang. "Human," Taeyang's voice boomed through the chamber. "You stand accused of violating sacred law. You have entered the forbidden world. Give us one reason why you should not die." Junwoo's legs wanted to shake, but he forced them still. He remembered Yuna's words. Honesty above all else. "I have no excuse," he said clearly. "I did not mean to come here, but I did. If you must punish me for that, I understand. But I am not your enemy. I did not even know dragons were real until yesterday. My people tell us, you are myths and monsters." Angry murmurs filled the chamber. Taeyang stood. "He speaks the truth as he knows it," Yuna said quietly. "I prefer he did not exist on our world at all," Taeyang shot back. Ji-hee raised a wrinkled hand. "Peace. Let us not forget our own laws. Any who seek sanctuary must be tested. If the human passes the 3 trials, he may stay. If he fails, he leaves. Those are our ways. The trials were made for dragons, not weak humans," Taeyang said. "Then he will fail, and the problem solves itself," another council member said. "I vote for the trials." One by one, the council voted. In the end, it was decided. Junwoo would face 3 trials. If he passed, he could stay on Drakenheim. If he failed any trial, he would be sent into the wilderness alone with no supplies. On a planet full of creatures that could kill him easily, that was the same as a death sentence. The first trial was the trial of wisdom. They took Junwoo to a room filled with ancient machines. In the center was a puzzle. A sphere, covered in symbols that glowed and shifted. "Make the sphere turn white," Daehyun said. "You have until the sun moves 1 hand's width across the sky." Junwoo studied the sphere. The symbols were not any language he knew, but as he watched them shift, he noticed patterns. They moved like circuit diagrams he had studied in pilot training. This was not about magic or language. It was about logic. His hands moved over the sphere, pressing symbols in sequence. Sometimes he got it wrong, and the sphere flashed red. But each failure taught him more. The watching dragons whispered among themselves. Time was running out. Then he saw it. The pattern was not random at all. It was a power flow diagram. He pressed the final sequence, and the sphere blazed white. The dragons looked surprised. Some even looked disappointed. "The first trial is passed," Jihei announced. The second trial was the trial of strength. They brought Junwoo to an arena. Across from him stood Minho, a young dragon warrior. He was not fully grown, but he was still twice Junwoo's size and covered in black scales like armor. "You will fight," Taeyang announced with a cruel smile. "First blood or submission. Try not to die too quickly, human." Minho looked uncomfortable. "Honored council, this is not fair. I will kill him by accident." "Then be careful," Yuna said. Her eyes met Junwoo's. There was worry there, but also trust. The fight began. Minho moved fast, faster than Junwoo expected. A fist came at his head and he barely dodged. The ground where he had stood cracked from the impact. Junwoo could not match Minho's strength or speed. But he had fought bigger opponents before. He had been in bar fights, training matches, and once a real battle against space pirates. He knew how to survive. He dodged and weaved, making Minho chase him. The young dragon got frustrated, attacked harder. Junwoo waited for his moment. When Minho overextended on a punch, Junwoo grabbed his arm and used the dragon's own momentum to flip him. It should not have worked. Minho was too heavy, but Junwoo's technique was perfect, and Minho was off balance. The dragon crashed to the ground, shocked. Junwoo did not press the attack. Instead, he stepped back and offered his hand to help Minho up. Minho stared at the offered hand, then at Junwoo's face. Slowly, he smiled and took it. "I submit." The human fights with honor. More surprised murmurs from the council. Taeyang looked furious. "The second trial is past," Jihei said, and now she was smiling too. The third trial was the trial of heart. And they told him nothing about it. Daehyun led Junwoo through the city streets. Dragons everywhere stopped to stare at him. Some looked curious. Some looked angry. Children hid behind their parents. They came to a tall tower that was crumbling. "Somewhere in this tower is a crystal. Find it and bring it to the council. That is your trial." Junwoo looked up at the dangerous structure. Parts of it were falling apart. "Is this a test of courage?" Daehyun's expression was unreadable. "It is a test of heart. That is all I can say." 2. Number 4. Tassis. Junwoo entered the tower. Inside was dark and dusty. He climbed carefully, testing each step. The crystal had to be at the top. That made sense. Nothing worth finding was ever easy. He was halfway up when he heard crying. A child's voice. Junwoo froze. This was the trial. There was a child in the tower. He moved toward the sound and found a young dragon boy trapped under a fallen beam. The child's scales were pale blue and wet with tears. "Help me," the child whispered. Please. It hurts. Junwoo looked up at where the crystal probably was, then back at the child. There was no choice. Not for him. He grabbed the beam and pulled. It was so heavy. His muscles screamed, but he thought of his sister. Of every child he had ever seen. No crystal was worth a child's life. The beam moved. The child scrambled free, just as the floor beneath them cracked. Junwoo grabbed the boy and ran for the stairs. Behind them, the tower began to collapse. They made it outside seconds before the whole structure came down in a cloud of dust and noise. The child's mother rushed forward, crying and thanking him. Junwoo just sat on the ground, breathing hard. He had failed. He did not get the crystal. That meant death in the wilderness. But when he looked up, Yuna was there, and she was smiling. There was no crystal. She said softly, "The trial was to see if you would sacrifice your goal for another's safety. You passed. Junwoo. You passed all 3 trials." That night, the council formally declared that Junwoo could stay on Drakenheim as a guest. He was given quarters in the palace and freedom to move through the city. Not everyone was happy. Taeyang left the meeting in rage. But the decision was made. Later, Yuna found Junwoo on a balcony, looking at the stars. "You surprised them today," she said. "You surprised me too. I just did what felt right. That is exactly why you survived." She stood beside him. Most humans we remember were always calculating, always looking for advantage. You just helped a child without thinking. "Do you really think I could go home someday?" Junwoo asked. Yuna was quiet. "I do not know. But I promise I will try to help you." She paused. "Would it be so terrible to stay here for a while?" Junwoo looked at her. In the starlight, her scales glowed softly. Her golden eyes held something warm. "No," he said honestly. "I do not think it would be terrible at all." But neither of them knew that far above in space, sensors had detected the crash. The Terran Federation knew where their pilot had gone, and ships were already coming to Drakenheim, whether the dragons wanted them or not. Junwoo had been on Drakenheim for 2 months when the sky changed. He was in the palace library with Hana, learning about dragon history, when alarms began to sound throughout the city. Daehyun burst through the doors. "Come quickly, both of you." They ran to the council chamber where Yuna stood before a large screen showing space above the planet. Junwoo's blood went cold. He recognized those ships. Federation warships. A whole battle group. The largest ship in the center was a carrier-class vessel. That meant an admiral was aboard. "They have been broadcasting for the past hour," Yuna said, her voice tight. "They demand your return, Junwoo. They say they have right to enter quarantined space for rescue operations." "How did they find me?" Junwoo asked, though he already knew. Taeyang stood among the council, his red scales seeming to glow with rage. "This is what happens when we show mercy to humans. They send an invasion fleet. We should destroy them all. That is a Federation battle group," Jihei said quietly. "They could destroy this entire city from orbit. We are powerful, but we have not built weapons for 3,000 years. We focused on life, not death. Then we should have built weapons," Taeyang shouted. "I told you this day would come. I told you humans would never leave us in peace." Yuna raised her hand for silence. Her face was calm, but Junwoo could see tension in her shoulders. "Fighting will only prove what the galaxy thinks of us, that we are monsters." She looked at Junwoo. "They came for you. Perhaps you should speak to them." "No," Daehyun said immediately. "This could be a trick. They take him, and then attack anyway. Or I go to them," Yuna said. Every dragon in the room went silent. "I will meet with their admiral. Junwoo will come with me. We will talk, as civilized beings should." "Empress, you cannot." Daehyun looked horrified. "They could capture you, kill you. Who will rule if they want war?" They will get it whether I hide or not. But if they truly came for one pilot, then let us give them what they ask for and see their true intentions. Yuna's golden eyes swept the council. This is my decision. Taeyang stepped forward. And if the council disagrees? Yuna met his gaze without fear. The council advises. The Empress decides. That is our law. The tension in the room could be cut with a knife. Finally, Taeyang bowed his head, but his eyes burned with anger. As you command, Empress. But I will remember this day. 2 hours later, Junwoo stood beside Yuna in a small dragon shuttle. It was not like human ships. It seemed almost alive, responding to Yuna's thoughts more than any controls. Daehyun piloted, his face grim. Are you afraid? Yuna asked Junwoo quietly. Yes, he admitted. These are my people. But I feel like I am betraying them. And I feel like I might be betraying you too. You cannot betray both sides at once, Yuna said with a slight smile. Pick one to be loyal to. I pick the truth, Junwoo said. Whatever that is. The Federation flagship was huge up close. The shuttle docked in a landing bay filled with armed Marines. Junwoo saw their faces as Yuna stepped out of the shuttle. Fear. Wonder. Some looked ready to shoot. An officer stepped forward, a woman with admiral's bars on her uniform. She was older, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. I am Admiral Kwan of the Terran Federation. You must be the Dragon Empress. I am Yuna. I rule Drakenheim. Yuna's voice carried authority that made even the Admiral pause. You came for your pilot. He is here, unharmed. Take him and leave our space. Admiral Kwan's eyes moved to Junwoo. Pilot, are you injured? Did they hurt you? No, Admiral. They saved my life. They have treated me with kindness and honor. I see. The Admiral's expression was hard to read. Nevertheless, this planet is under quarantine. You were not authorized to land here. His ship crashed, Yuna said coldly. Or do. Federation. Ships no longer. Malfunction. A convenient malfunction, perhaps. The Admiral gestured to a conference room. Shall we discuss this in private? Or do you prefer to negotiate in a landing bay? The conference room was cold and metal, so different from the warm crystal of the Dragon Palace. They sat across from each other. Yuna and Junwoo on one side, Admiral Kwan and her officers on the other. Let me be direct, Admiral Kwan said. This quarantine has stood for 3,000 years. Breaking it, even by accident, is a serious matter. We need to understand what happened here. Ask your pilot, Yuna said. He will tell you truth. Junwoo explained everything. The distress signal, the malfunction, the crash. As he talked, he watched the Admiral's face. She was smart. She was listening not just to his words but to what was between them. And they did not harm you in any way? The Admiral asked. They tested me. I passed. They let me stay. Junwoo hesitated. Admiral, I have learned things here. About why the quarantine exists. Things that do not match what we were taught. Oh? The Admiral leaned forward. Please, enlighten me. So Junwoo told her. About the corporation that tried to steal dragon magic. About the accident that killed millions. About how the dragons were blamed for human crimes. As he spoke, Yuna provided details, dates, names. Admiral Kwan listened to it all. When they finished, she was quiet for a long moment. These are serious accusations. Do you have proof? Our records are open to you, Yuna said. We have kept every document, every transmission. We knew someday the truth would matter. There were. The problem, the Admiral said slowly, is that truth is often inconvenient for governments. If what you say is true, it means the Galactic Council lied for 3,000 years. That is a difficult thing to admit. But you believe us, Junwoo said. He could see it in her eyes. What I believe does not matter. I am a military officer. However, I am also a human being with a conscience. And I am tired of politics that hurt innocent people. Before anyone could respond, an officer burst into the room. Admiral, we are detecting weapons powering up on the planet's surface. Multiple sites. They appear to be ancient, defensive systems. Admiral Kwan spun to Yuna. I did not order this, Yuna said, standing. Her scales began to glow with power. Someone else did. They rushed to the bridge. The screens showed energy signatures lighting up all over Drakenheim. Ancient weapons, buried for millennia, were coming online. It is Taeyang, Daehyun said, his face pale. He must have planned this. While the Empress is off-world, he takes control of the defense grid. A transmission came through. Taeyang's face appeared on the screen, twisted with rage and triumph. Humans of the Federation, you have 5 minutes to leave our space, or we will destroy every ship. And Yuna, you are no longer Empress. You abandoned your people for humans. I am Regent now. You cannot do this. Yuna's voice was like thunder. Stand down, Taeyang. This is treason. This is survival. Taeyang shouted back. You are going to surrender us to them. Well, I will not surrender. Better to die free than live as slaves to the Galactic Council. The transmission cut off. Alarms began blaring throughout the Federation ship. The weapons on Drakenheim were charging. They had maybe 4 minutes. We need to evacuate, one of Kwan's officers said. Jump to FTL before those weapons fire. We cannot. Another officer reported. They have activated some kind of field. It is blocking FTL. Across the whole system. We are trapped. Junwoo felt his world falling apart. He looked at Yuna, saw the pain on her face. Her own people had betrayed her, turned on her because she tried to make peace. How do we stop those weapons? Admiral Kwan demanded. They are controlled from the old fortress in the northern mountains, Daehyun said. But we cannot get there in time. And even if we could, Taeyang will have loyal soldiers guarding it. 1. Taeyang. 1. Then we fight, the Admiral said grimly. Ready all weapons. If we are going to die, we will not go quietly. Dronson, no. Junwoo stepped forward. There has to be another way. Yuna, is there any other way to shut down those systems? Yuna closed her eyes, thinking. There is one possibility. The weapons run on magic, stored in the planet's crystal network. If we could disrupt that network at key points, the weapons would lose power. How many key points? Junwoo asked. 12. Scattered across the planet. Then we split up, Junwoo said, his mind racing. Some of us go for the fortress to stop Taeyang. Others hit the crystal nodes to shut down the weapons. That would take an army, Admiral Kwan said. I have Marines, but not enough for 12 simultaneous attacks. You have me, Yuna said. And you have dragons still loyal to me. And you have humans who claim to want peace. She looked directly at the Admiral. Will you fight beside us? Or will you run and let Taeyang start a war that will kill millions? Admiral Kwan did not hesitate. We fight. Together. Plans were made quickly. There was no time for anything else. Federation shuttles would carry mixed teams of human marines and dragon warriors to the crystal nodes. Daehyun would lead an assault on the fortress. Yuna would go with him. And Junwoo would coordinate from the flagship, using his knowledge of both human and dragon systems to guide the attacks. As teams rushed to their shuttles, Yuna pulled Junwoo aside. If we fail, she began. We will not fail, Junwoo said firmly. But if we do, I want you to know. She hesitated, something vulnerable in her golden eyes. These months with you have meant more to me than centuries on my throne. You reminded me what it means to hope. Junwoo took her hand. Her scales were warm under his fingers. Then, we fight for hope. For both our peoples. She squeezed his hand once, then let go and headed for her shuttle. Junwoo watched her go. Fear and determination mixing in his chest. The war for Drakkenheim had begun, and somewhere below, Tae-Yang waited with weapons that could destroy everything. The first shuttle to leave the Federation flagship carried 6 human marines and 4 dragon warriors. Junwoo watched on the bridge screens as it descended toward the northern crystal node. His heart pounded with every second that passed. 2 minutes until weapons reach full charge, an officer reported. "Come on," Junwoo whispered. "Come on." The shuttle landed near a glowing crystal formation the size of a building. Marines poured out, establishing a perimeter. Dragon warriors moved to the crystal itself, their hands glowing with magic as they began the disruption ritual. Then Tae-Yang's forces appeared. Dragon soldiers loyal to the new regent, dozens of them, descending from the sky in their true forms. Massive wings, scales like armor, claws that could tear through metal. But they did not run. "Contact at Node 1, came the transmission. "Heavy resistance. We are engaging." Junwoo watched the battle unfold on multiple screens. Node 1, Node 3, Node 7. Everywhere. The same story. Human soldiers fighting beside dragons against other dragons. It should have been a slaughter. The humans were weaker, slower, fragile, but they were coordinated. They moved in teams, covering each other. When a dragon warrior fell, human marines dragged them to safety. When marines were pinned down, dragons provided cover with blasts of magical fire. They fought like they had trained together for years, not hours. "Node 5 is down," came a report. Crystal disrupted. 1 dead, 3 wounded. Node 2 secure. 4 wounded. No deaths. Node 8 under heavy attack. Request support. Admiral Kwan stood beside Junwoo, watching everything. "Your people fight well alongside mine," she said to no one in particular. "Because they chose to," Junwoo replied. "No one forced this alliance. They made it themselves." Meanwhile, Dae-Hyun led the assault on the fortress. He flew in his dragon form, massive and black as night, with Yuna beside him. Her dragon form was bigger, golden scales reflecting the sun like a second star. Behind them came more dragons and 3 Federation gunships. The fortress was ancient, built into the mountain itself. Tae-Yang waited there with his most loyal followers. As Yuna's forces approached, defensive cannons opened fire. Energy beams that could destroy ships stabbed through the sky. "Evasive action," Dae-Hyun transmitted. He rolled through the air, dodging blasts. One gunship was not fast enough. It exploded in a ball of fire. Junwoo's screens showed the crew was lost. 15 humans dead in a second. Node 9 down. Crystal disrupted. Node 4 down. Node 11 is secure. But we lost the whole dragon squad. Tae-Yang's forces used forbidden magic. Some kind of fire that burns through our shields. Junwoo's jaw clenched. People were dying. Both humans and dragons. Fighting together. Dying together. For what? Because one angry dragon could not let go of old hate? No. Because Tae-Yang loved his people and feared for their future. Junwoo had to remember that. The enemy was not evil, just desperate and afraid. 1 minute to weapon full charge, the officer announced. "We are not going to make it," Admiral Kwan said quietly. Then Hana's voice came over the communication channel. She was on the ground at Node 12, the last one. "I have an idea. It is dangerous, but I think I can do more than disrupt the crystal. I can overload it. Send a feedback pulse through the whole network. That would kill you." Dae-Hyun's voice came back, sharp with fear. "Hana, no. It would save everyone else," Hana replied. Junwoo could hear the fear in her voice, but also determination. "Is that not what we fight for? Each other?" "Hana, wait," Junwoo said into the comm. "We need you. Find another way. There is no other way. Tell the Empress." Hana's voice broke slightly. "Tell her, I am honored to serve." "Hana, that is an order." Yuna's voice came through, filled with command and desperation. "Stand down. We will find." But Hana had already started. On the screen, Junwoo saw the crystal at node 12 begin to glow brighter and brighter. Hana stood at its center, her whole body blazing with power as she channeled everything she had into the magical matrix. The feedback pulse hit like a wave. Every crystal node on the planet flared and went dark. The ancient weapons, seconds from firing, shut down. The FTL blocking field collapsed, and Hana fell. "Medical team to node 12 immediately," Admiral Kwan ordered. "Get her stabilized." But everyone watching the screens knew the truth. No one survived that kind of power surge. Hana had given everything to save them all. The bridge was silent except for the sound of systems and distant combat reports. Junwoo felt something break inside his chest. Hana, who loved learning about humans, who was so curious and kind, who reminded him of his sister. Gone. Yuna's scream came over every channel. It was not a human sound. It was the rage and grief of an ancient being who had lost too many friends over too many centuries. Her dragon form blazed with golden light as she threw herself at the fortress with no care for her own safety. "Yuna, wait," Daehyun called, but she was beyond listening. She crashed through the fortress walls like they were paper. Taeyang met her in the central chamber, transformed into his own massive red dragon form. They collided in an explosion of fire and magic that shook the mountain. "Get me down there," Junwoo said suddenly. "I need to be there." "You cannot fight," Admiral Kwan said. "I am not going to fight. I am going to stop one." Junwoo turned to her. "Trust me, please." Something in his eyes made the Admiral nod. "Lieutenant, get him a shuttle. Fast one." The shuttle ride down was the longest minutes of Junwoo's life. He could see the fortress ahead, parts of it crumbling as two ancient dragons battled inside. By the time he landed, other forces were arriving too. Dragons on both sides, seeing their Empress in danger. Junwoo ran through broken corridors. The walls were scarred with claw marks and burn marks from dragon fire. He followed the sounds of combat, the roars that shook dust from the ceiling. He found them in a massive chamber that used to be a throne room. Yuna and Taeyang in dragon forms, circling each other. Both were wounded. Yuna's golden scales were cracked and bleeding. Taeyang's left wing hung wrong. "You destroyed everything," Yuna roared. "Hana is dead because of you. How many more must die for your pride?" "Pride?" Taeyang's laugh was bitter. "I watched human smugglers kill my entire clan when I was young, while the Empress did nothing, while the Council looked away. And you ask me to welcome them now? To trust them? So you start a war that kills them? And us?" Yuna prepared to strike again. "You are a fool, Taeyang. Taeyang. Stop." Junwoo stepped between them. Two massive dragons. Either one could kill him without trying. He felt very small and very fragile. "Move, human," Taeyang growled. "This does not concern you. It concerns everyone." Junwoo did not move. His legs shook, but he stood firm. "You are right, Taeyang. Humans did terrible things to your people. We lied. We stole. We killed. I am not here to say those things did not happen." "Then you admit it," Taeyang said. "You admit your kind is evil." "No. I admit my kind made mistakes. Just like dragons made mistakes. Just like every species makes mistakes." Junwoo looked up at the massive red dragon. "But we are more than our worst moments. Humans and dragons both. Did you see what happened today? Your people and mine fought together, died together, for each other. One day does not erase 3,000 years. No, but it is a start." Junwoo gestured around at the broken fortress. "This path leads only to extinction for both our species. The Federation has dozens of fleets. If you make them your enemy, they will eventually destroy you. And in destroying you, they will become monsters. Everyone loses. Taeyang was quiet, his massive chest heaving with exhaustion and emotion. I am tired, he finally said, his voice softer. I am so tired of being afraid. Afraid that humans will come and take everything again. Afraid that we will lose ourselves. Afraid that I am not strong enough to protect my people. Then stop trying to protect them alone, Yuna said. She had shifted back to humanoid form, bleeding from a dozen wounds but standing tall. Let others help carry that burden. Even if they are human. Taeyang looked at them both for a long moment. Then, slowly, painfully, he shifted back to humanoid form. He looked old. Older than Junwoo had seen before. Tired. I cannot lead anymore, Taeyang said. I do not trust myself. My hate is too strong. Then step down, Yuna said. Take your followers who cannot accept peace. Go to the southern continent. Build something there. Away from all of this. Exile. Sanctuary, Yuna corrected. Time to heal. Time to decide who you want to be. Taeyang nodded slowly. And if I refuse? Then I will kill you here, Yuna said flatly. Because I cannot let you hurt more innocent people. Dragon or human. The red dragon looked at Junwoo. You are brave. Human. Foolish. But brave. Perhaps you are not all the same. He turned and walked toward a broken wall. I will take your offer, Empress. But know that I do not do this because I believe in your peace. I do it because I am too tired to fight anymore. He shifted and flew away into the sky. Some of the dragons watching followed him. Others stayed. Junwoo's legs finally gave out, and he sat down hard on the stone floor. Yuna came to him and knelt beside him, back in her humanoid form. That was incredibly stupid, she said. I know. You could have died. I know. Thank you. She leaned her forehead against his. Thank you for being stupid and brave. They sat there in the ruins, while around them, dragons and humans began the work of peace. Later they would mourn Hana properly. Later they would count all the dead and wounded. Later there would be trials and treaties and so much work. But in that moment, as the sun set over Drakkenheim and cast everything in gold, Junwoo and Yuna just breathed and held each other. The war was over. The real work was about to begin. 3 days after the battle, they held a ceremony for the dead. 37 dragons and 42 humans had died fighting together. They were buried side by side in a new garden created at the palace, where crystal flowers grew that would never die. Junwoo stood beside Yuna as she spoke words of remembrance. Hana's name was spoken last and longest, the young dragon who loved learning, who dreamed of seeing the stars, who gave everything so others could live. When the ceremony ended, Admiral Kwan approached them. We need to talk about what happens next. They met in the council chamber. This time, human officers sat among Dragon Council members. Ji-hye looked older, but peaceful. Taeyang's seat was empty. Daehyun stood behind Yuna's chair, his face still bearing the scar from the battle. The Galactic Council has been very quiet, Admiral Kwan began. My superiors are nervous. They want to know if this planet is now a threat. We never were, Yuna said quietly. But I understand fear makes people see threats everywhere. I told my superiors the truth about what happened here. About the old records, the lies, everything. The Admiral leaned forward. They were not happy, but I also told them about what I saw. Humans and dragons fighting together. Dying together. That impressed them. What did they decide? Junwoo asked. They want to negotiate. Properly this time. No more quarantine. Trade agreements, cultural exchange, maybe even a mutual defense pact. Admiral Kwan smiled slightly. They also want to investigate the old corporations involved in the original incident. There are people in the Federation who care about justice. And the Galactic Council? Ji-hye asked. That is more complicated. I took a risk, The admiral pulled out a data pad. Before my superiors could stop me, I transmitted everything to the Council's public database. Every record, every piece of evidence. It is out there now. The whole galaxy knows the truth. The chamber erupted in surprised murmurs. Yuna stood. You did what? Do you understand what you have done? I do. I am probably going to be court-martialed. Maybe imprisoned. Admiral Kwan met Yuna's eyes without fear. But I am tired of lies. Tired of politics that hurt people. If I am going down, I am taking the corrupt system with me. Junwoo felt respect flood through him. This human woman had risked everything for truth. That was what humanity could be at its best. Then you will need a place to stay while that happens, Yuna said, and she was smiling. Drakenheim offers you sanctuary, Admiral. For as long as you need it. Over the following weeks, everything changed. Ships began arriving from the Federation, then from other species. Scientists, diplomats, journalists, all wanting to see the legendary dragon world. Yuna allowed small groups to visit, carefully controlled. Junwoo found himself in a strange position. He was no longer just a pilot who crashed. He was a bridge between worlds. Humans trusted him because he was one of them. Dragons trusted him because Yuna did. He spent his days helping negotiate trade agreements, settling disputes, teaching each side about the other. It was exhausting. It was frustrating. It was the most important thing he had ever done. One evening, he was in the palace library trying to understand dragon property law when Dae-hyun found him. The Empress wants to see you, the guard captain said. On the eastern balcony, Junwoo went, curious. He found Yuna standing in the sunset, her golden scales catching the light. She had something in her hands. I have been thinking, she said without turning. About what you said during the battle. About being more than our worst moments. Yes, I realized something. For 800 years I have been Empress. That is all I have been. Ruler, leader, symbol. But I forgot to be Yuna. She turned to face him. You reminded me. Just by being yourself. Just by seeing me as a person. Not a crown. Junwoo stepped closer. You are a person. A remarkable one. Am I? Yuna's smile was sad. I am old, Junwoo. So very old. I have watched friends die. Watched empires rise and fall. Sometimes, I forget what it means to just live. Then maybe you should try living for a while. I am. She held out what was in her hands. It was a crystal, glowing softly. This is a bond crystal. In dragon culture, when two people want to be together truly, they share one. It connects their lives, their souls. Junwoo's heart beat faster. Yuna, what are you saying? I am saying that I love you. I, who have lived centuries and thought I understood everything, have fallen in love with a human pilot who crashed into my world by accident. She laughed, but there were tears in her eyes. It is foolish. It is complicated. It will make politics even messier. But I do not care anymore. I am tired of being alone. Junwoo took the crystal from her hands. It was warm, pulsing with a light that matched his heartbeat. But somewhere between the trials and the battles and the negotiations, you became the most important person in my life. We will face so much opposition, Yuna warned. Dragons who think I dishonor our people. Humans who think I am manipulating you. The Galactic Council will probably use this against us. Let them try, Junwoo smiled. I crashed on a forbidden planet and woke up in a dragon empress's lap. Everything since then has been impossible. What is a little more impossible? Yuna laughed, a real laugh full of joy. She pulled him close and kissed him. The crystal between them flared bright, sealing their bond. When they pulled apart, Junwoo felt different. Like part of Yuna was inside him now, and part of him was in her. Connected. What happens now? He asked. Now we build something new. A position was created for you. Bridge Lord. They are calling it. You will represent both species. Help them understand each other. That sounds like a lot of work. It is. But you will not do it alone. Yuna leaned against him. We do it together. 6 months later, Junwoo stood before a massive assembly. Dragons filled one side of the hall. Humans and other species the other. It was the first joint council meeting, establishing formal relations between Drakenheim and the Federation. Beside him stood Yuna, regal in robes of light. Behind them stood Dae-hyun, who had become Junwoo's friend and training partner. Jihye was there too, smiling from the council seats. And in the human delegation, Admiral Kwan wore civilian clothes now. She had indeed been court-martialed, but public opinion forced the Federation to pardon her. She was now ambassador to Drakenheim. We stand at a historic moment, Junwoo began. His voice was amplified through the hall. Humans and dragons, together for the first time in 3,000 years. Not as enemies, not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals. He looked out at the faces watching him. Some looked hopeful. Some looked skeptical. Some still looked afraid. That was okay. Change took time. I am nobody special, Junwoo continued. I am a pilot who made a mistake and crashed. But that mistake became an opportunity. An opportunity to look past old lies and older fears. An opportunity to remember that we are not so different, any of us. We all want safety for our families. We all want to be understood. We all want to matter. Yuna stepped forward. My people have been isolated for too long. We told ourselves it was for protection. But isolation is just another kind of prison. It is time we rejoined the galaxy, not as subjects, but as partners. Admiral Kwan stood. The Federation acknowledges its historical mistakes. We cannot undo the past. But we can build a better future. Starting today, Drakenheim is recognized as a sovereign world with full rights in the Galactic Council. Cheers erupted from some sections. Not everyone cheered, but that was okay too. Agreement took time. After the assembly, Junwoo and Yuna escaped to their private quarters. Being Bridgelord was important work, but it was also exhausting. Sometimes they just needed to be Junwoo and Yuna, not symbols. I have been thinking, Yuna said, curled up beside him, about Hana's dream. To see the stars. Yes, I want to make that dream real. For all dragons who want it. An exploration program. Dragons and humans, together, finding new worlds. She looked at him. Would you help lead it? Junwoo thought about it. Thought about flying again. But this time with purpose beyond just survival. Thought about showing dragons the wonders of space, and humans the wonders of dragon magic. Yes, he said. When do we start? Soon. But not tonight. She kissed him softly. Tonight we just rest. 1 year after the crash, they launched the first joint expedition. The ship was called Times Harmony Asterisk, built by both species working together. It was beautiful, combining human engineering with dragon magic in ways neither could achieve alone. Junwoo stood on the bridge, Yuna beside him. Dae-hyun was security chief. A human engineer named Hyun-soo managed the engines, and 50 crew members, split evenly between species, filled the halls. Ready? Juna asked. Junwoo looked at the controls, at the stars ahead, at the woman he loved. He thought about that day he crashed. How terrified he had been. How sure he was that he would die on a forbidden planet. Instead, he found something he never knew he was looking for. Purpose, partnership, love. Ready, he said. Asterisk harmony, times lifted from Drakenheim's surface and climbed toward the stars. Behind them, the forbidden planet was forbidden no longer. Ahead of them lay endless possibilities. The human pilot who crashed into legend was flying again. But this time, he was not alone. This time, he flew toward a future where old enemies became new allies, where impossible barriers fell, and where love truly could bridge any distance. As they jumped into FTL, Junwoo thought about what made humans special. It was not strength or technology. It was something simpler and more profound. Humans made families from strangers. They saw potential where others saw only differences. They believed in second chances. And sometimes, that belief was enough to change the galaxy. The stars streamed past the windows. And somewhere in the ship, a dragon and a human laughed together over a shared meal. Tomorrow, they would explore unknown worlds. But tonight, they celebrated the greatest discovery of all, that no one, human or dragon or anyone else, had to face the universe alone.